Wecker here from Hope for Survival, and today I'm on site at Carolina Readiness Supply with two of my dear friends and fellow patriots, Miss Jan and Mr. Bill, and they've agreed to let me come down and shoot a podcast with them to talk about Carolina Readiness Supply and everything that it offers, they have for sale, and a little bit on the history. And then we'll do a little tour through the store, and we'll talk some about Heritage Life Skills, which is coming up here in a couple months, which is a huge event. If you've never attended, you need to mark it on your calendar, 21 through 23 May, and come to Waynesville, North Carolina. Okay, so Carolina Readiness Supply. I was fortunate a few years ago to meet these folks in Saluda, North Carolina at another event, and I learned about Carolina Readiness Supply, and since then it is kind of a home away from home, and I come here every chance I get, if for nothing else, just to chat with these two here. They're like family. So tell us a little bit about how long you've been here and why you got started. And
well, we've been here, will be 11 years in May. Actually, my thoughts of starting this business began probably in 09, 08, prior to the election with Mr. Obama, and I had very real concerns about the direction our country was heading and the need that we would need for preparedness under a socialist government. And that was my driving force, listening to what was going on prior to the Obama election. My wife, she really didn't have a high interest in preparation. You know, it was the cases of toilet paper mounted up, and all of a sudden 2 skids of food show up in the driveway, and she about let me go about my business. But I think it was when she read Bill Forstion's book 1 Second After, a year or two later, that really spurred her interest in preparedness, when she could see the ramifications of what a grid down situation could be. So that was really our motivating factors, and so we took a little bit that we had to scrape together and got started. We were in a little store half this size at the other end of the block for our first year, but we've been in this building here almost 10 years now.
So were you already into preparedness before the store?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were seriously, several years before we started the store, we were in preparedness, and you know, we thought about it. I had retired from law enforcement, and we had shut down a fairly successful drapery business in 08 with that crash, that bubble. And we just, after a lot of consideration, and felt that this was a great way to serve the public, and we had an interest in it, and we enjoy every day being here in our business. And so it's really not a job for us. It's
a way of life.
Way of life.
Because I grew up in Michigan getting snowed in, so I always had a pantry. I always had extra food.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about this area here too is you have a large clientele of like-mindedness.
That is true.
That are serious about the business.
Mm-hmm.
That you not just coming through and making purchases, but connections that you make and friendships you've developed.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have. It's been a blessing for us, really. We have met so many people and have developed so many friendships out of this business, and we have learned so much from our customers.
Absolutely.
We learn every day. We hope that we're able to disseminate information and help educate people through Heritage Life Skills, and just information that flows through the business and items that we can pass on, but we also glean information from friends. And so it's very much a two-way street on what we do here. So
one of the things that stood out to me probably the most at Heritage Life Skills, and I've learned that through this process of doing Hope for Survival and coming through here, there is this mindset out there of the non-preparers or non-preppers of the cami wearing ponytail, muddy, and but the thing that stood out to me at Heritage was the number of professionals and retired professionals, highly educated, highly skilled individuals.
yes, absolutely.
Very talented people.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jan can attest to that when she talks about Heritage Life Skills,
Yeah.
because my wife, Jan, she really runs the event along with my daughter, Lacey. They're the coordinators. And I just hold down the fort when they're doing their thing, so to speak.
And they do a
Yeah.
great job. It's very everything is fine tuned and it doesn't miss a beat. So with all the resources that you have here that you have for sale, what are your hot ticket items? Mostly food.
Food is probably
Is number one.
Food, and then books.
Is number two.
And books, I'd say, would be number two, and then we have a whole spattering of intermixed things from tactical gear to water purification,
Camping.
to camping gears, miscellaneous camping equipment, things of that nature, lighting. But really, food, obviously, getting people started on initial food storage is a big goal of ours, and then directing them in the right direction as far as getting information resources through the many books that we have.
What would you say is the number one question that's asked to you on average on the first contact when folks, what they're looking for, or I need help, or?
Wow, yeah, that's really not one answer to that. I mean, we have people come in with really just a blank look. They know there's something wrong in our country. They know that things aren't right, and they come in with that blank stare, and it's like, what do I do?
They're lost.
They're lost, essentially. So, we can get people really jump started from that position very quickly. The only reason a lot of people really feel that way is because it's so overwhelming that you look at what's going on and then you just feel so overwhelmed. How can I do something about this? Now you can do a lot about your situation and your family's situation. And a lot of that is organization for preparation, and we can really help you get started on that. And but everything's a process. It's time and money. Everybody has a budget, so it just depends where you fit into that framework and how fast you want to move forward in your preparedness. So,
Since the first time I met the two of you several years ago, one of the things that has always stood out to me from then through now is that no matter where the country's at, up or down, you both have always been positive. Even during troubled times, you've both been positive, and you've had a uplifting outlook, especially with these individuals you're talking about.
Yeah.
Of giving them hope.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to take the first steps. People will help you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and there's a lot of your preparedness is in building a network and skill sets, and there are many different ways of building either preparedness groups. There really a lot of different variations in that. So you have to look at who are you with, the personalities, location, you know, and how you want to structure a group like that. And I think, Butch, your plan really is, you have a terrific plan.
Thank you.
And one of the things is you're staying within your known areas, so to speak, of operation for preparedness. And it's always, you know, you always hear about people bugging out or doing this. Well, actually, you do carry you can call it a bug out bag or a get home bag. It's a bag. It's all the same bag with preparedness items that hopefully will cover you in various situations. Hopefully you want to stay at the house, because that's probably the best place to be in that emergency with your group and your known area of operation.
Right.
So, you know, we encourage that. You know, talking about secondary places or whatever, yes, there should be a plan B and a plan C if your plan A at your location fails. That, you know, you can fall back on that place to go or whatever. So
One of the things that kind of led me into this Hope for Survival and doing what we're doing is I was working in my day job in emergency management, and then when I went back to school and got my master's, and then I took probably 50 FEMA classes and got FEMA certified.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
Was the reality that
I just
it's
didn't
about
wanna
critical
bring it in.
infrastructure and things of that nature when disasters
Oh,
hit.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's
But there
fine.
was nothing for the 70-year-old, the 65-year-old, block by block by block by block.
right.
You can go blow off 100 to 1,000 rounds a week,
Yeah.
but these folks can't, right? And they gotta eat,
Yeah.
and they need to know basics. They need to have the basics, and they need to have confidence and hope that they can build a plan
Absolutely.
to survive.
Absolutely.
You know, if everything was about
Yeah.
the 80-pound bug out bag that we
Yeah.
can't carry anymore because we think we're still 30 years younger.
Yeah.
So all of us, you know, planting seeds, getting them to grow,
Yeah.
helping families, and you all do that in here every day.
Well, people can do a lot more than what they think they can, number
Absolutely.
one, when you educate yourself on these things. And you're right, Butch, we're not 18 years old. We're not in ranger school, and you're not carrying that 100-pound pack on a 20-mile run or whatever the case is. I mean, it's reality, and most people, maybe when they were younger, had those expertises, and we slowed down a little bit with age.
Right.
But believe me, there's a lot we can do. There's
Sure.
a lot we can do. That's what's so important about groups too. You
Yeah.
may have those young people for certain tasks within your group, and then you may have the older ones in your group. If you're not that agile, you may be the communications person behind the desk,
Yeah.
monitoring a number of people, monitoring radios and communications and listening to scanners. You know, doing cooking, doing
Yeah.
gardening, doing raising livestock and fowl, and there's just all sorts of jobs that you can do which are necessary to keep your community going. I think a lot of people, when you think of the broad sense, you know, I've heard people over the years say, well, I've got, you know, they've got arms and can do this and that, but you can't, that's exactly right, you can't eat those things. Those may be very important, obviously, but all these other things come into it that are equally as important. If you're going to, if you've lost everything, as in a grid down situation with no power, think about it. You can build your community.
Yeah.
You can do all those things. We treadle sewing machines. That's part of our preps. We can sew. And
So one of the interesting things that I have learned, and coming to Zoom on Thursday night, you've probably noticed that probably 80% of the folks in there are 55 and over,
yeah,
right?
probably are.
So what I find interesting is, say we'll just use the scale 55 and under, is they read books to learn trades and experiences, but those who are 55 and over, they have the hands-on skills.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
They have an opportunity here. That's why I try to encourage so many folks with skills, no matter what it is, to volunteer their time
Yeah.
to do a video, or they can do it live, but to teach these skills the best they can, to help. I know the Franklin group. They have some training set up coming soon to where they're actually going to learn how to set traps
Yes,
and catch rabbits, skin rabbits,
yeah,
Okay.
and, survival skills.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
some of them, like someone asked you recently about, were you going to show how to, I think it was skin and process a deer
mhm.
at Heritage, you know, kind of jokingly, but that's a
well,
lacking.
Well,
skill, you know?
we've done goats.
Yeah.
We've done goats before, but there is there very well may be butchering class actually. Now that you bring that up at Heritage Life Skills,
Yeah.
I think we're getting that lined up. I don't know exactly. It may be goats again,
Now you will have to have.
but we'll see.
a
That's
mallet.
still coming. The other thing about you're talking about older people in groups. You know, a lot of those people, older people, are veterans.
Do you need
Yeah.
Mylar bags?
And there's also a number of those veterans that are combat veterans,
The
that have real
mediums
life
will
experience,
fit the square.
being in areas not only where there's
Do this for a,
war areas,
but the round
have been in
bucket
areas seeing the results of collapses
Mm-hmm.
when
will
there's
need the
nothing
large
there.
bag.
And a lot of those people have real
But if
insight
you're
to
using
what life
out
would
of
really
it,
be like without all the wonderful luxuries we have here in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's, you know, I have had the opportunity to
Like,
visit
what are you
third
gonna
world
be putting in
nations. I've
there?
been to Haiti, one place, and
okay.
people don't understand what real poverty is until you go to a place like that. You really don't have any understanding. I
Having the cans. which
can't
would
say
keep
that
them
I've
open.
seen anybody anywhere
Cake
close to
mixes
that kind
now.
of poverty
When
in
you
this
put 'em
country.
in, you
I'm
know,
sure
you
there's
have to
cases,
take and
but
slice
the extreme
the
poverty
plastic
Right.
that
is
the
just
mix in.
devastating.
And then we've got
And
those
so
little,
we're very fortunate
things
to
put
be
in.
here. We've had a lot of problems right
Okay.
now, but we're
And then
still
you're gonna
very
put
fortunate to
multiple
be in
ones
this
in
country.
We're
there.
blessed.
Okay, so you
Yes.
don't need a big
You know, we
bag
worry about our
for
cell
that.
phone working and
But
having
your
a signal.
oxygen
You go
will
to
be
Haiti and some of these
Mylar
other
bags.
third world locations, and they're worried about a piece
Same
of
with
food
this,
for the
if you're
day.
gonna be
Absolutely.
using
Stand
from
in
it,
line for
using
hours
the
and hours
screw,
and
you
hours
really
and get there and there's
don't
no
need
food
a
left.
bag.
Okay.
So they
Well,
come
But
back
if
the
you're
next
gonna-
day, try
If you
again.
want it long term.
Well,
You know, digging
Mylar
dumpsters
bag.
out of trash cans.
I don't think
Yeah.
we need
So you think we're good here? Okay,
Yeah, Haiti is,
and you do have
I use that
oxygen
because I just,
absorbers
that's
for the little
ingrained
packets.
laser etched in my mind being there for 3 or 4
That's
days.
3713.
I mean, I never
Is it
saw a
debit
paved
or
road
credit?
in the whole capital city of Port-au-Prince. There may be
We
one.
got the bigger ones. to put
There
in
may have
the
been one up by the
bullets.
presidential palace where I
Right.
visited, but
You can slide it in there.
yeah, it's now the place is deforested.
Right.
They've cut everything down for firewood. It's
And there's basically nothing left, and the
Right.
government's corrupt, and any aid they get,
Right.
they live like
We think
kings,
he's
and the
such a
people
ball
starve.
like
that's socialism,
Yeah.
and
And to think that there's people being educated in our country,
much longer.
that
Yes,
this is a good way of government and
all
a good way of
day,
Yeah.
life.
it's a happy going in.
yes,
You know, the puppet masters.
yeah.
You remember
So.
that hoarder
I mean, I guess that's a lot of the reasons we prepare. I mean, we prepare because we don't know what tomorrow may bring.
Right.
I mean, we can take an educated guess,
And we got it.
but besides the natural disasters which we've had massive flooding in this
My
county
daughter got
before,
one.
lost homes.
Sarges, they.
You know, you don't know if it's a tornado or if it's, you know, a temporary power outage or something as severe as an electromagnetic pulse attack.
And they had just dropped it off.
Or
and
higher
no,
prices coming. Fuel prices and energy going up and loss of
she had
jobs.
to put it down
It's all a reason to be prepared.
What is going to change tomorrow out of your norm? I look at preparing as a life insurance policy.
She called
Yeah.
that day.
You know,
also.
we have
And they
we
said,
have insurance for everything, but much of that is after the accident, it's during the illness or after the illness or after death.
Right.
What about now?
Well, we've got
Right.
cats.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have a family.
Absolutely.
You know, when
Yeah.
your kid looks at you and says, "Daddy or Mommy, I'm hungry," and I'm sorry, son, but we don't have any food because I didn't prepare, because I didn't listen to other people. I was too busy.
That's absolutely true, Butch, and I will tell you that, you know, I talk about these things, and I always try to hold back a little bit because running a business, people say, well, you're fear mongering or whatever. I can't, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't predict exactly what the future's going to be. I just can tell you by indicators today and by history.
History repeats itself.
History does
Cycles.
repeat itself. And what we see going on here in this country today is not a history we want to repeat or even go to, but I'm afraid it's happening. So when we're under circumstances like this, we are going to see higher energy costs. We are going to see higher unemployment. And we are going to see shortages. These things are all occurring right now. If you look at what you buy, what you get in return for a dollar,
Thank you, ma'am.
as energy prices go up, as the government prints more trillions more dollars, our value goes down. So it's very, very concerning. If anything, that should be a reason to prepare. This isn't to create fear, but prices are going up, and we're starting to see some shortages occur. But I'm telling you, when last week a 50-pound bag of light red kidney beans went up $6 from 2 weeks, well, it was 2 weeks prior. And I mean, that's over 10% increase, and that's a dramatic increase in pricing. But every month we're seeing a 0.5% or 1% or 25 cents on this item, and it just incrementally it keeps going up. And
We'll just go back to the beginning of early 2020 when COVID-19 started. You know, one of the things that we teach folks is that you want to be part of the 5%, 10% max.
Yeah.
But when the event starts occurring, you recognize that in the first 24 to 72 hours, you're dusting off your plan, you're re-inventorying, and when everyone else is going to fight over toilet paper and be around an invisible threat, you're going the opposite way. You're getting the last gas, you're getting some cash out, you're topping off whatever you need. That was a great lesson learned that got a lot of media attention. And here we are a year and a half later, and it's like folks have, it was kind of like when 911 happened. It was interesting. I was up in New York City a little bit after 911, and they were dead focused on a threat. 2 weeks later, I was in Louisiana and Arkansas. The further I got from New York City, the less focus and attitude. Up there, it was the government now requires A, B, C, D, E. We got to do this, and then you get down to Louisiana, Arkansas. It's like, this is what they have us doing. I don't know why. You know.
It's
the mindset.
Yes, and you know, prepare, and the main thing is when you know things have really gone badly or gone south, as we like to say, you want to be out of the fray. You want to be away and remove yourself from any of that until the dust settles initially. You got to find out what's going on, and
you want to extract yourself to your safe place where you control it.
Right.
You know, with all your planning and your family and your team. Miss Jan, what do you think?
I mean, I've been in and out. I don't know what y'all talked about.
Miss Jan's going to talk to us about inherited life skills here in just a few moments. So she's been taking care of customers and Mr. Bill and I have been doing what we like to do best, and that's yak.
Talk.
Back and forth. That's why I like to come down here to catch up on life. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to do a tour of Carolina Readiness Supply so you can see what they have for you here. Like I said earlier, if you're in the area, stop through, come shop. At a minimum, come and say hello and get to meet these fine folks here. You have friends for life. Okay, we'll be right back with you. All right, so Mr. Bill's going to give us a tour of Carolina Readiness Supply and kind of give us a surface view of what they have to offer here, and talk to us a little bit as we go through the store. Talk a little bit about shipping and availability. So, Mr. Bill,
Yes, here we are.
camera's rolling.
So True Seeds, heirloom seeds for your garden. Good thing to have.
Always.
Heirloom, non-hybrid seeds. In other words, the seeds are always true to their parent. And a great thing to store and have. Take some knowledge and learning seed saving. Some of them are simple to save, like tomato seeds and things, and peppers and such. And then some of the other ones are a little bit more advanced, but great thing to have in your storage, heirloom, non-hybrid seeds. So always a good thing to have. Now, Butch, I thought you were going to do the laundry. Yes, we do have our laundry
Look at the
section
laundry.
right here in this old laundry tub.
Right at the front door.
People never think about it, but having clothespins, clothesline,
Yeah.
hang your clothes, do your wash, ring it through your ringer. I mean, all important things. If you have no power in a grid down situation, must have.
Oh, that's for clothes. I thought it's when
This is
the
not-
other political persuasion comes through, you put them through the ringer
That's
here.
true,
And
and it was also when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm older. You never put your fingers
No.
in the ringer.
because you will be in a ringer.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Then over here we have an assortment of camping fuels, hiking trail maps, fuel preservatives, lamp oil, and miscellaneous items such as that.
Paper maps are great to have
Yes.
in your bag when you do your route surveys. When the digital world crashes, hopefully you have a paper map and you know how to read it.
No GPS needed.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
oh, solar oven. We have a whole line of miscellaneous camping sundries. These are just the small items that you may need if you're on the trail hiking, in your emergency pack in your vehicle, your bug out bag, your get home bag, your everyday carry bag, whatever the case is. But everything from solar showers to fire starters to water purification tablets, emergency candles, saws, ponchos, repair kits, compasses, and just all the sundry things that you may need.
It's all small and lightweight.
Yeah, small and lightweight. And over here's the repellent section. Bear bells.
I had those when I lived in Montana.
Yeah.
And these are actually, when I do the security class for, these are great. They're not cosmetically beautiful. These are great to have tie on ribbon
Yeah.
and hang on windows on the inside.
Yeah.
Because if the guy on the outside is looking through the window, as soon as he moves it, cuts it, whatever, the bell's
Bell
going to
goes
ring.
off. Yeah.
If you have a little yapper is going to let you know.
So we have that, and canteens and shovels and towels and fuel cans. These are the Nato Wavion
Yeah.
fuel cans. These are the best on the market right now.
Yeah, they're hard to come by actually
Yeah.
in some places.
Yes. They are actually the importer right now. They can't get them. So I do have a limited supply. So
Hear that,
those
folks?
three-
If you don't have one, you better get in here and buy it or order it.
I have blue, green, and yellow right now, and we're out of the red, but I still have some in stock. So, and then we have bushcraft knives, tactical knives, a good selection of knives, SE knives, Tops knives, and many different configurations for whatever the task is that you may be looking to fill the need. So, well, let's scroll over to the books. This is a big part of our business. Where the books are very popular, and of course we have some of the top fiction writers in the U.S. We right here, from C.A. Rudolph to Franklin Horton to Stephen Bird, and
Chris.
Chris Weatherman. Boy, a lot of great writers. I can't say enough about them. I mean, they are great. So, and how can I leave out my friend Mark Goodwin?
Oh yeah.
But a lot of fiction there, but genre. But our main thrust is these how-to books. Let me just jump back to the fiction.
That's one of my favorite books right there.
This fella, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Boost sells.
He jumped line, though. I was going to get to him. This was a book that, 1 second after, that
Just
really
right.
got my wife interested in preparing. Yeah. And anybody that hasn't read this book,
yeah.
I sincerely would advise them to read this.
It's a great starter.
It's a fiction novel, but it happens right here in the mountains of western North Carolina, outside of Asheville. And it's a book that will make you think. And you will appreciate and you will grow to understand the need for preparedness. When
Made the federal government think.
Yeah.
At least Newt Gingrich.
That's right.
You know?
Story behind this book, Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
And building a preparedness plan for shielding us from EMPs. But very important book. But the how-to books, these are probably some of the most other important books that we have. Everything from a basic instruction manual to get started to Dare to Prepare, Holly Deo's book, which is really an encyclopedia, and it's an information resource on preparedness resources and information on packaging, etc.
Do you know when she started collecting information to write this?
It's probably been decades. I don't know
She
if
started,
she's
and according to Stan, I heard him this
in
morning.
Australia.
This morning,
Yeah.
he said she started, I think it was in late elementary school or junior high, she started collecting information from people around her.
Okay. Yeah.
This is not just a book. This is like a whole brain in here.
Yeah.
It will make your head hurt. It
Yeah.
has so much good information in
Right.
it.
And it is. It's a resource, and it directs you to areas of obtaining resources
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Now this
she's good.
fella's book here, Hope for Survival, which is a
I'm
good
paying
read.
him $20 to do this.
I'm not all the way through this yet, by the way. So,
Really?
but I'm sorry.
I gotta put more pictures in it. You only work 20 hours a day. I don't know why you don't have time to read.
Well, I grew up in Virginia, and that's right next to West Virginia.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but good organizational planning book for groups.
Thank you.
Really a must read. And we do highly recommend Butch's work.
Thank
You'll
you.
be at Heritage Life Skills too.
I will.
So,
Thanks for having me.
so I guess
I look forward to it.
we'll hear a little bit more about the 5 mile plan,
You will.
which is really a good
It's
plan.
a whole new class this year.
That's right.
It is.
But we have a whole assortment of books. You know, there's Left to Bang's a great book.
Awesome
too.
book.
Um,
It's one of my favorites, actually. Left to Bang.
It's really a book about giving you a new perspective
Yeah.
on things. But great book, and you know, everything from home water supplies to building barns and gardening. Jonathan Hollerman's book, Survival Theory.
Yes,
He'll be one of our speakers at Heritage Life Skills.
former Air Force guy. Whoop.
Yep.
Great guy. This book here actually Left to Bang cemented my decision on my second book, which I hope to have ready at Heritage.
Yeah.
But it's going to be called Hope for Survival, the Mindset.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it is driven by this philosophy,
Okay. Good.
along with a few others. But
Yeah.
it's why do we think what we think,
Yeah.
and to get you to think a different way.
Then we get down to a whole variety of outdoor type books and foraging and collecting wild edibles and herbs and medicinal herbs.
You were in a great location here for that too.
Absolutely.
Western Carolina, North Carolina. Yeah.
The diversity of plant life in the Smoky Mountains is unequaled anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So we have a whole pharmacy at our back door, if you know what you're looking for. Great first aid
Yep.
book.
Yep.
Dr. Alton, Nurse Amy,
Mhm.
Survival Medicine Handbook, telling you alternative ways to address medical issues if medical people aren't available.
The medical portion of my book, actually, I wrote to him and got his permission to use some of it in
Right.
my book.
Yeah.
Because to me, he's one of the best,
Right.
if not the best.
Dr. Alton's very knowledgeable.
So-
It's a very good book.
So do you know Winston from our Zoom?
Mhm.
This right here is how I met him, standing right here.
Yeah.
I walked in one day. We were going to go to lunch. He was standing there holding. I didn't know him from Adam. I just said, "You should really buy that book. It's a good book." And he kind of looked at me. He said, "Why did you write it?" And I said, "Actually, I did." And we've become good friends. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. So, yeah.
More
and
maps. My home state of West
Maps.
Virginia, which is not part of Virginia.
then used to be.
Used to be. We got smart.
Yeah. Well, these are great books.
Oh yeah, I got one under my truck seat.
Maps. Yeah, I've carried all 5-6 states with me.
Yeah, around you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but think about it. The reason these books are so good, which I tell people, because how many people who travel and been stuck on the interstate? Should I get off at the next exit?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this book will show you all the roads and how to get around the interstate. Has all the secondary roads.
And when you open it, you don't need a GPS signal to see where to turn off.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
No electricity required.
It never says, "Hold on, I don't have a signal." Yeah.
So anyway, books are great, and and we even carry Smoky Mountain News, which is one of our local liberal publications. But this little Asheville Daily Planet, for those that are local, that's a great little paper. It shows you he has leftists in there, but he has hardcore conservatives in there. So I mean, it's a
good
really
balance.
it's a good balance in this paper, and really,
But you guys are fair and balanced, so
Yeah.
I'm glad to see
yeah,
you are.
absolutely, we do. We believe in that. Come on down and get on your soapbox, and
Yeah.
I'll see if I can.
10 minutes is up, sir.
Yeah.
Step down for the next.
Right.
When I lived in England and used to go to London, they had I forget the name of the square, but you could go. They had a fence around it, and you could go climb on the soapbox, and you could stand there for hours,
Pontificate.
as long as you didn't say anything negative against the Queen or the royal family. You could just let it go.
Well, if we're talking about presidents in here, that may not fly.
I know.
So, anyway, bulk food. Can we
Lots of
carry
it.
Bulk wheats
Yeah.
and flours and sweeteners, sugars, oats, oatmeal, beans, all bulk. We sell bulk by the bag. We got a load coming in the door there.
It's good
And,
news, folks.
And
Resources are flowing. Buy them while you can.
we have them right now. And then, of course, these same bulk foods we have packaged in buckets.
Yep.
And these are
Easy to
packaged-
store.
These are in Mylar.
Easy to
vacuum
carry.
Sealed. 10-year minimum shelf life on bucket food. And obviously, these things are going to last a lot longer if you have like wheat in a
Yeah.
bucket. And maybe 100 years from now, I mean, it's not going to go bad.
Yeah.
But you know, number 10 cans. This is what we term our insurance policy in food storage. You know, there's a lot of things that I discussed earlier about food storage, but really we consider the long-term food storage, that's your set it and forget it food.
Yep. It's
And,
there.
But do build your food pantry from
Yeah.
a grocery store, and that's to include miscellaneous toilet paper, soap, toothbrushes,
hygiene.
yeah,
Yeah.
hygiene items, and buying all those cans dated out a minimum of 2 years, 2 to 3 years. And if you buy canned meat, you should find it at least dated out 5 years.
So if you would, between your buckets and all the items we see here, we have dehydrated, freeze-dried, and we have dry goods. Tell us what's the difference between the dry goods and the freeze-dried or dehydrated.
Okay. Well, it's the process in which the food is stored.
Mm-hmm.
These bucketed foods,
Mm-hmm.
these are raw field products.
Mm-hmm.
Right out of the farm, they harvest the product, they pull the beans off the plant. The chaff is filtered out of it, and they're bagged, and it's ready to go. These are packaged. The beans, rice, oatmeal, potatoes, potato flakes, sliced potatoes. All these products they're bulk packed in Mylar bags, which are in the food industry really called oxygen barrier bags. They're sealed with an oxygen absorber within the bag. It absorbs the oxygen, the residual oxygen in the bag, leaving your food product in nitrogen,
Mm-hmm.
the other component of what we breathe.
Yeah.
So it can't oxidize or decompose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ideally you want to store these products at 70 degrees Fahrenheit and below, and the cooler you go, the longer your shelf life
life.
is going to be. So you just don't want it to get too hot. Cold is good.
Yeah.
You know, you can put it in I mean, technically it can be freezing. It's not going to hurt it. And these are the highest quality food grade buckets that I can obtain. So
Yeah.
they're a lot heavier than what you'd find at Lowe's or Home Depot.
So I asked that question because for anyone that has not tried to eat dehydrated or freeze-dried, your system has to adjust to it. So when I built our food plan, which I put in the book and shared for others, is if your body does not take to the midterm, I call it midterm foods, right? And you run out of your grocery store foods and you're now living on your dehydrated, freeze-dried, and mix it in with some of your long-term bucket food to ease your body into it's not so much of a shock to your system.
What our plan is essentially grid down, worst case scenario, our plan is at minimum at least 1 serving of rice and beans a day.
Yeah, I love it.
To do that, that's the core right there. And by the way, you can fix beans a million different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Really, you need to get some cookbooks on it and have those spices
Yeah.
available. And if you can at least have a little bit of meat put back, canned meat or dried meat, whatever, to put in that with that meal, it makes a great meal.
I mean, right off the bat, you have beans and rice,
Right.
rice with beans, and beans with rice.
That's exactly
There's
right.
three
There's three different
menus right
ways.
there, right?
And then you repeat it for the
Yeah.
rest of the days of the week.
And the next day, it's a day older. It's
Yeah.
going to taste a little different.
But,
Add
you know,
spices, like you said.
Right. So this is a really good way. You know, I recommend this food if you're just starting. Always start with beans, rice, cooking oil, which you have to have oils in your diet. And no, it doesn't. It's not. Doesn't have the shelf life as. And I haven't read any literature that tells me how to extend it other than refrigeration
Right.
may help some. But you know, there are oils like olive oil and possibly coconut oil that have longer shelf lives as opposed to vegetable oil, canola oil, and things of that nature. So, but do store oil. Just know that you're going to rotate that out. So you don't want to buy 10 gallons of oil because you're going to throw it out in 2 years.
Right. All at once.
You know, back when I burned oil, I'd cycle my oil out, I'd pour it in my oil tank and burn it in my heating oil. But you can save it back for candles, or the other thing that you do with your food pantry or any rotation item that's coming of date, tie that forward to the food pantry.
They'll
You know,
use it. Absolutely.
If it's in date, they'll take it immediately and they'll use it. So just, you know, you can make that part of your tithing plan.
Yeah.
You know, if you're tithing X amount of dollars a month, just
Donate
every
food.
month rotate your food in your food pantry if it's coming past date, and it's, you know, and your goal of your food pantry or storage is so it's always there in an emergency, then go ahead and do that. As far as dehydrated foods go, well, simply they're processed, but they're essentially dehydrated, air dried.
Yeah.
You know, like dehydrated eggs and scrambled egg mixes, which is dehydrated eggs with oils and milk powders and such. The eggs they use a process called spray drying. I've never seen it. I've just read about it. The eggs are actually mixed and sprayed out of high pressure nozzles and dried.
Wow.
And it turns to powder, I guess. But those are all, you know, the dehydrated is the air drying process. They are good when you open a dehydrated product. The manufacturers say you have a year's shelf life after open. Just keep them covered and moisture out of it. Freeze-dried foods are different. They're most people say they taste fresher, but the process in creating freeze-dried foods is they are frozen under very, very low temperatures, 30, 40 degrees below zero for a period of time, and then they are slowly dried under a vacuum, which as they're very small amounts of heat are applied to the food product under vacuum, and so the little bits of moisture dissipating out of the food are vacuumed out of the food product, and it becomes so dry it's brittle and actually will just crumble to dust when you touch it because there's no moisture in it. But it can be rehydrated immediately with water. It's amazing stuff, because I have a freeze dryer and I've freeze dried meat before, and it's amazing. You can freeze dry a piece of ham and crunch it between your fingers into a powder. I can take the same piece of ham, put it on a paper towel and pour water on it, leave it a minute, and I have a piece of meat.
That's what's wild.
Yeah, it rehydrates and all the cells fill back up with moisture. So, but yeah, they say the freeze-dried foods may taste a little bit fresher, and you'll find a lot of fruits and vegetables that are freeze-dried, and you know they also have a long shelf life, 25 years on average, and the only drawback on freeze-dried food is, at least commercially manufactured food, they say you should consume within 2 weeks of opening.
Yeah.
2 weeks. So what we do, because Jan and I, we use a lot of these products at home, we'll, if we have a damaged can or something, we take it home,
Sure.
we use it.
Yeah, why waste
We
it?
repackage it into mason jars, vacuum seal it with our food saver with an oxygen absorber in the jar. We're good to go.
So on the store-bought canned food, one of the things we don't have a problem eating it past the expiration date, but one of the things we do when it gets to, you know, if it expires in 2 years, 3.5 years from now, we can almost everything that's in our freezer.
Yeah.
So we'll take the canned vegetables and dump them in a pot, drain them, and take fresh ground beef and make soup, and then put it in a jar and freeze it to prolong it even further, because we eat lots of soup.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's, other than tithing your out-of-date stuff, is you can process it.
Yeah.
You can can it. You can, depending on the product, dehydrate it. I mean, I ran an experiment just last week. I've got a bunch of Dak ham, the 1 pound cans.
Yeah.
I took it up there and cubed it and put it in the freeze dryer.
Yeah.
Worked beautiful. Freeze dried Dak ham cubes. So
You were talking about tithing. One of the things, I can't remember if I mentioned, I think I mentioned this in the book, but every time that I would go and buy like Sam's Run or Costco, a food run, those number 10 can foods, pork and beans, corn, chili beans, I stocked up on those as well. So even if it's a grid down or a disaster type scenario, I have food available, frozen hot dogs that I can put with it, that I can take. Don't do it outside of your house, but find a way to get it to an area where they're feeding those in need. So I don't feel as guilty stocking because I'm stocking for the unprepared, the homeless, or
my rule of
maybe
thumb,
not the same degree, but
I say prepare an extra 10%.
yes, yeah,
That's just,
it's good philosophy.
and whether you're tithing that to someone in need, which is a whole nother area for discussion
Oh yeah,
on how you help people without making yourself a target.
and you're not followed back home.
Right.
Wear clothes that are too big for you. Roll around in the dirt so
Right.
you can fit in.
Right.
One of the a couple of our HFS followers and good friends of mine down in Huntsville, and they've one of them's a regular on Zoom. I had breakfast with them about 2 weeks ago in Huntsville, but they have spent a lot of time down in the homeless camps in the city, and wealth of information from the people that are living, the street people, the violence, and how quick they turn on you. And this is information coming from those in the village. Great lesson, information that they shared with me. From that part, which is going to be one of the players that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's your situational awareness, so to speak, in your community.
Oh yeah.
And, every place is different.
Yeah.
But you watch, really.
They're going to run out of food too.
Yeah. This is, I don't know, left to bang talk or whatever. Sit there, pick a topic. Your topic for the day is, what are the homeless people doing in our community?
Yep.
And watch them. I mean, really observe what these people do. Observe what they do at a certain time of day.
Yeah, because if you drive through their area every day going to work and going home, and all of a sudden you don't have a vehicle and you got to walk through there, do you want to walk through there, or do you have another route that you've already determined that's safer?
They have very set patterns. Individually, and I've even observed some group behavior.
Predictability.
Particularly if you notice, more and more have bicycles. They all have cell phones.
So's Antifa.
But
just saying.
That's true. And but you'll notice many of them will always walk in the middle of the road. There's just certain behaviors they do. They feel the need for their protection to do that. But it's interesting. So know what's going on around you, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's that 5 mile radius thing.
Yes. MREs.
All right.
Those two.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, and the only thing I say about MREs and things like Mountain House pouches, which do require water to rehydrate, these require nothing unless you want to use a heater. 50 mils. These come with heaters. Takes 50 mils of water. The reason these things are great is I just open the bag and eat out of the bag. It's a grab and go. If you can insulate these depending on the weather and your vehicle, you may want to store some of these in the vehicle. And they come with all the components, whether it's tortillas or crackers or peanut butters or whatever. They're all different in here. Cheese spread, whatever. But it doesn't hurt to. This should be somewhat of a component in your food storage, but not major.
One of the things on any of the foods particularly, but I know from past life and MREs, is if you have minimal to low water consumption, don't start consuming a lot of food.
Yes.
You need water to process food,
Yeah.
and also if it's salty food. So if you have minimal water and you're still hungry, you might want to think about eating minimal or skipping that meal,
Yeah.
or you
No,
may be
that's-
doing yourself more harm.
Yeah, that's true. But I will say that if you're here in the mountains and you
You're
don't have
fine.
any water,
You're from the city.
we are blessed with water. Believe
Yeah.
me, we are blessed with water.
You're the guy that's out in the woods in the glow vest and the $300 boots with no mud on them,
Yeah.
and the glow in the dark hat with the solar lamp on the top of it. And
Well,
Yeah.
it's just like,
nothing against them.
yeah. When I talked about food last week, and you touched on this Zoom meeting, of course, was your water plan. And really, if anything you do, first you should have your water situation taken care of. And although it's probably one of the most critical, important things, it may be one of the easier things that you do in your preparedness. The thing to know is, like you stated last week on Zoom, you need to have stored water in
Yeah.
your house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, whether it be small containers or water storage tanks, whatever the case is, have that water, potable water for drinking, stored.
Yeah.
You do need water stored to flush toilets or whatever, but you can put rain barrels on the outside of your house. If you have already chlorinated city water, you just need to fill the containers, changing it out every 9 to 12
Yeah.
months, whatever the case is, and refreshing that water. If you're coming out of a well, do chlorinate your water. And then if you have a Berkey water purifier or any purifying system, generally it'll take the chlorine back out of the water.
Right.
But stored water is critical. The other thing is have a way of purifying your water, whether it be a water purification system, water filter, water tablets, chemical means, boiling water.
Yeah.
You know, good hard 10-minute boil.
Yeah.
You know, some people say, well, you need exactly 6 minutes or 8 minutes. Just do it 10 minutes.
Yeah. Be safe.
Hard boil, be safe. The other thing is if the water's really questionable water, you double down on it. I would personally boil the water, let it cool, or then run it through my Berkey,
Yeah. Be safe.
or I would chemically treat the water and boil it, or whatever two
Yeah.
methods.
Yeah.
You know, you
Two that
just
you
don't
have.
want waterborne illness.
And if you have one is none, two is one, and three is better, that
Right.
redundancy there in your water plan, it's going to allow you to have, and also it keeps you in training.
Right.
Um,
You have a primary water source. Well, now if you have a well, maybe the power's out.
Yeah.
You know, do you have a hand pump? Oh, it's too deep for a hand pump. Okay, well that's not going to work. So you fall back on your stored water. But the other thing is you need to develop and map out where your secondary water
Yep.
sources are. Is this pristine spring water my secondary water source? Is this a questionable water source that I'm going to have to treat, but it's water and I can get it? So having those sources identified is really a good plan. So you're never out of water. And it's just, you know, I use this as an example because I've used my emergency water before.
Right.
I live right here in town, but my water main is broke and I've had no water at the house for several days. But alas, I did have water at the house. It was all my planned water storage. So it wasn't a problem. A little bit of an inconvenience. Yes, I had to walk up a flight of stairs with a jug or something, but
Right.
you know,
But you had water.
but I have water.
Yeah.
So, you know, until I got the repairs done. So,
One of the greatest deficiencies I find in folks who are into preparedness, especially if it is not a couple, a team effort, and it's kind of one individual and the other individual just kind of goes along with it, is preparers are deficient in documenting processes and where they're at.
yes.
And if the primary
guilty.
person, you know, something like you're out of town
yeah.
and you
Yeah.
run out of water, and let's say your plan was to use your hot water heater.
Yes.
have you documented steps
Yes.
for an older child or a spouse?
Yeah.
You know, but in everything, we spent $9,000 on a solar system that we're going to roll out and use that's sitting in the garage, or the power's out and you're going to get water out of your well.
Right. Exactly.
Where is your
Operations book.
an operations book?
Yeah.
That is the biggest. What if it's an environment that it's a high threat, and what if you get injured or lose your life on day one? You have all those years invested, all those resources, which will be good for your family, but if they don't know how to use the stuff,
And no one knows how
you've
to
set them back.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so document.
Yeah. Yeah, and that even goes back to there's just so much to do, and you're absolutely right, and that just brings to light too. Do that in your food pantry too.
Yes.
You don't know what you have in there, and you'll become overwhelmed.
Yep.
You know, spend just a few minutes a week,
Yep.
or whatever, to keep things caught up, and you'll always know, where you're at.
I went through it was a lesson learned kind of. I went through an inventory a couple months ago, last fall, and we have lots of pressure can stuff,
Yeah.
right? And my wife is really good at hiding it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pulling out my inventory,
Yeah.
Year by year and pint by quart and what category. And I'm going through it and I'm like, ooh, the numbers aren't matching. Well, did you look here? I did. I found 2 cases there. Well, you need to go look here, which she knew it, right? But on the same token, she knew where the resource was at.
Yeah.
I knew where the spreadsheet was at.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
eat the spreadsheet,
Right.
right? But it's that communication thing.
Right.
And like you said, knowing what you have, what
Yeah.
you should use.
Very important.
Yeah.
Because, it's just like dating the tops of your groceries when you come in, which I encourage people to
Yeah.
do, particularly when you're just starting. Really, it's critical when you just start because you're going to learn your consumption rate
Mhm.
and thus know how much to store, whether it be your 1-year plan, 2-year plan, whatever the case is. So
Right.
marking those things and keeping records is very important.
Yep.
And one area that you can fall or lag behind on very easily, and I'll attest to that. I've learned a lot of things trial and error, and I've learned, where I am deficient in some of those areas. No one's 100%
Right.
perfect, but
That's why it's nice being around, like the food video you put together.
yeah,
I was telling Festus, I think it was Festus, or it might have been Gerald, I can't remember. But it's like, notice that he's using a sack inside the Mylar bag. Had never thought of that, through as many books and so on and so forth. It's like, this is genius.
well,
It takes a couple extra seconds to put it in there,
yeah,
but the problem it's saving you when you go to use it,
that it
Oh,
still
no.
doesn't seal.
I had a hole in my bag,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
my resource cut my bag.
right. Yeah, there's certain
Learning.
things that I do that with, and the split peas is one of them. Like when sliced potatoes, we package sliced potatoes. They look just like potato chips, except they're rock hard.
Yeah.
They are hard, and they're dehydrated. But in that case, I use it's really a double plied, it's a 7.5 mil Mylar bag. It is very heavy, and I use twice the oxygen absorbers.
Mhm.
I use 3,000 cc's in that bucket just because there's air volume, and the bag's heavy because sliced potatoes are sharp.
You're talking about the potatoes being hard as a rock.
Yeah,
Years ago, when I was going through the police academy in the Air Force, we were out in the field, and it was my first exposure to the old sea rats. I think it was the dehydrated ones, and we were in
a few
a
of those in my
we were in a hurry. So our brilliant instructor said, "Hey, just go ahead and eat it, and then take big gulps of water." Can you imagine taking a bag of Saccrete and swallowing it and then drinking water? That's what it was like.
Oh, man.
It started expanding. Oh my goodness, painful.
Yeah,
They're just sitting there laughing at us.
yeah.
You know, we didn't even know any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Sea rats.
Yeah. What we got over here?
Well, we have tactical gear,
Mm-hmm.
but I am been hit pretty hard. Have more coming,
Business is good.
but we're really low on inventory right now. Holsters, magazine pouches. I've about sold out of rifle magazine pouches. All my piggyback pouches are gone. But generally, I have more in inventory, but I'm really low right at the moment.
Well, this is awesome to see because I was down here, one of the times I was down here mid to late summer, and most of this area back through here was mostly empty.
We've had,
You know, so to see this much come in now,
we've experienced shortages.
yeah,
And that was, well, I will tell you, we have had shortages through the end of the summer, into the fall, where orders were 4 or 6 weeks out. And unfortunately, we did just receive word from Augustin Farms that we're not going to be able to obtain number 10 cans until further notice. Now, I don't know what further notice means, and I don't know exactly what's transpiring. I don't know if their production levels are low due to resources and they're just moving their product through Walmart or Sam's, wherever,
right.
or if they've cut across the board.
Right.
I don't know yet. I don't know what the shortage is
Yeah.
exactly. Although we are still able to get some of these dehydrated foods from other suppliers,
Yeah.
so it's not, we're not getting
Yeah,
food.
it's just that brand.
It's one brand.
Yeah.
So we try very hard to really keep our inventory up as much as we can and get our orders ahead. Just, you know, I would tell people prices are going up.
Yeah.
Our margins are the same, but prices really, folks, I'm telling you, whether you prepare here or anywhere, get it now.
Yeah.
Get it now, because inflation's going up.
Yeah.
We see it in our pricing, so it's very important if you haven't done anything to buy food now.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Hey,
So
it's got, if you really think about it, they're saying that gasoline will be $4 a gallon by the end of this year.
I have no doubt.
How much do you think it's going to cost a semi to keep rolling? You're
Yeah.
going to pay for it in the stores.
You print money, your fuel prices go
Yeah.
up for trucking industry.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is amazing. Here we have first aid supplies.
Yeah.
Tactical first aid kits are comprehensive. These are comprehensive kits. We also sell the empty bags. You want to pack your own kit, make it up, that's fine.
If you don't have first aid training, you need to get it. And a
Yeah.
great place to get it is Heritage Life Skills in May. Look for classes being offered by Skinny Medic.
Skinny Medic.
He will be there to share his skills, and some of our HFS folks actually drove to Georgia a couple of months ago and attended a class he
Yeah.
taught for 8 hours. 5-star A+.
Yeah. Yeah.
At a
really
great
good.
at a great price.
I've attended one of his classes in the past, and
Yeah.
they're superior. They really are. So, great class. But anyway, broad selection of medical supplies, from triangular bandages to blood stop bandages to SWAT T tourniquets. We carry the cat tourniquets also, to quick clot, suturing materials, a little bit of everything. On the go glove compartment, first aid
Yeah.
kits, just something you can put in the glove box, to very comprehensive field kits. So it just depends on what your plan is or what you want that kit for.
Yeah.
And if you're really prepared, you're going to have more than one first aid kit.
Yeah.
believe me.
Yeah.
You may have one in the glove box.
And more than one tourniquet.
Right, exactly.
Never share your tourniquet.
That cat tourniquet is for you.
That's it. Meow. Yeah, absolutely.
But, So this, lighting and little solar lights and lanterns and
These are the Lucy lights, and they're great.
yeah, those are
Miss
fantastic.
Jan was speaking about these in Zoom last week.
Yeah,
Great to have on hand, or in your car, or in your bag.
Absolutely.
Keep it available.
great things to have. Colloidal silver's a great product
Oh, yeah.
also to have.
Oh yeah,
Natural antibiotic.
yeah.
You can apply this externally on wounds. You can take it internally.
Hmm.
These are all locally produced products right here in the mountains. So
Awesome.
good product. Cast iron. We have a lot of miscellaneous non-electric cooking gadgets that you'll need.
Does the cook come with it?
Just depends. If you're with me, probably.
Hey,
But-
cooking's it's a valuable skill to have
Yeah.
when you start looking at who's on your team.
You're right.
You
You
got
want good food.
good food keeps people happy.
We should have a load of cast iron coming in this month. I think they're shipping on the 12th of March from our friends in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, from Lodge.
I've been through every
Oh,
time I
yeah.
go to Huntsville, I go through South Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Yeah. Never
Uh,
related it.
Well, that's where this is all manufactured.
That's the exit off of Interstate.
Yeah.
It's not 40. It's
It's in all that spaghetti loop down there.
yes,
But,
75, 29.
yeah. But Lodge cookware, really excellent cookware. We carry, I'm really hit hard on it. Like I say, I've got a skid of it. I mean, I have a lot of cookware coming in. So we'll bring that back up to speed.
Mhm.
Skillets and Dutch ovens and all these items. You can't find better cookware.
Oh yeah, it'll last
use.
you.
Yeah.
It'll outlast you.
It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime product.
Yeah.
And I will tell people, I actually had a customer come in and says, "I hear Lodge is made in China." And I said, "No, still made in the United States,
That's what I'm saying.
South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. It was all made in the U.S." What he was probably referring to was Lodge, probably the plastic scrapers,
Yeah.
and maybe the oven mitts, maybe imports, and not made
I can't
there.
imagine them making that in China. Cast iron.
Yeah. No, the cast iron is all made right here in Tennessee. So,
Yeah. Good state.
yeah, Patriots over there.
That's it.
So,
Mr. Bill, I appreciate you showing us a tour of your Carolina Readiness Supply, and
absolutely.
hopefully, tell me real quick about shipping
shipping, yes, we ship.
for
Any-
folks who are out of the area that maybe want to order through your website.
We ship anywhere in the United States, and we do. The only thing that we really don't ship are individual buckets.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a cost factor for the
Yeah.
customer. You'd be wise to put something together yourself on that, because unless I was shipping a whole skid, which I will do, I can have that picked up here
Yeah,
and shipped.
and shipped.
But all these other items, number 10 cans, we ship. The bulk bag food, we don't, because it's prohibitive
Right.
cost. We've priced all that out,
Right.
and I mean, we can technically, but you're going to pay more for shipping than the product.
Right.
It's even worse. So,
Well, awesome. So, folks, you've heard it. You've had the tour. You see what they have. They're stocked right now. Now is the time to get online if you can't come here, and come hang out in Waynesville. It's a great town. We love coming here. We often do a lot of lunches here for Hope for Survival folks meeting up, and we all love to come to Carolina Readiness to chat with Miss Jan and Mr. Bill, as well as see what they have in stock and load up our cars when we're leaving out of here. So it's a great opportunity to help yourself and to help a good family, locally family owned, and to have a good day. So Appreciate you watching, and hope to see you soon.
And Butch, they can get hold of us at carolinareadiness.com.
They can. They can. Actually,
Carolina Readiness.
I will include that when I post it, I hope,
Okay.
if I remember. Thanks for adding that. Carolina Readiness Supply, website, telephone. If you don't have anything to do, Mr. Bill's usually not busy here. You can call him and talk to him about the day. I'm just kidding. This man works about 20 hours a day. So thanks for your time, and hope to see you at Heritage Life Skills. Until next time, be safe and be blessed. Bravo Echo out. All right, here we are again. It's Carolina Readiness Supply with Miss Jan, and we're going to now talk about an event that is hosted by Carolina Readiness, and it's something that we all look forward to each year. It's a great event. Heritage Life Skills, May 21st through the 23rd at the Smoky Mountain Convention
Event
Center here in Waynesville, North Carolina.
Or the Haywood County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, the old Haywood County Fairgrounds. And Miss Jan was kind enough to chat with me for a few on the event. So how many years this will be, which year? Coming up?
Well, labeled number 9,
Number 9?
but we couldn't do it last year, so
Because of COVID.
yeah.
And how many classes do you have roughly for
About 4 pages worth of
look at this.
classes
if you can't find something on this
that
class
you
schedule,
need to learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
you will. Most folks are saying, well, there's 3 classes in every hour slot that I want to take, and I can't decide, well, is it going to be taught again before I leave? And that's very, very true. You can learn hands-on skills, all kinds. And not only that, is DD12 coming this year? I had not heard.
Some of the authors will be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're a post-apoc reader, a lot of the authors, Steve Bird, Franklin Horton,
Chad Rudolph.
Chad and Chris Weatherman, Angry American, along with others. She has an amazing special guest this year,
Jonathan Hollerman.
Jonathan Hollerman, former Air Force veteran, and a great guy at that, from Grid Down Consulting, and a great author. If you haven't read his books, you should check them out. Guidance on EMPs. For me personally, he's the guy I go to read his thoughts on it. So he is the guest speaker on
Saturday.
evening.
And then Friday night is David Womack.
Okay.
Documentary on the Black Sky event.
Okay. So you have 2 nights.
2 nights of great speakers.
That's awesome. So you can start classes around 8 or 8:30 in the morning. You can take classes all day and get out of class around 6:30, cram a peanut butter sandwich down, and go get a seat. And both nights have guest speakers. There will be some food on site.
Yeah, we do have some
Right.
caterers there.
Last year, or a year before last, it was great food. It was convenient. I know as an
quick.
instructor, it helped me out to grab a good meal in between the lunch session and the dinner session as well. This year's venue has changed locations from where the past couple years was located. It'll be some indoor, some outdoor, right? So what should folks kind of plan for or adjust to?
Well, all the classes will be under roof. So if it rains, it's not a problem. But it's all pretty much open air. So if it's going to be a cool weekend, be sure you layer your clothes. Evenings will get cool here in the mountains. So jackets, and having to go from one building to another. If it's a rainy weekend, you'll need an umbrella or a poncho, something like that to keep the raindrops off.
One of the most amazing things about this event, other than it's a great 3-day weekend event, is if my math is close, West Virginia style, you can take roughly 10 to 12 classes total in 3 days, or maybe I think it's 10 to 12 roughly. But my point is, you cannot beat the cost to come here and take 3 full days of preparedness training and so forth at a low price. Miss Jan, the prices this year are, I looked at them earlier, but
Early bird special is $125, and then it will go up in increments.
so $125 for you as an individual to come here for 3 days and take training that you probably cannot match anywhere, I would guess probably in America, for the vastness of subject matter that you can get.
Yeah, some of the classes there is a materials fee. So if you're canning meat, canning fruits and vegetables, there's a fee for that. Cheese making, bread making, meals in a jar, there is a fee because you will be making it. We will furnish the products, the jars, as long as we can get jars this year. And you'll take it home with you. So some of the classes do have a fee, but the rest are free, and it's tremendous. Lodging, if you go on the website, there is a list of hotels in the area, list of campgrounds in the area, and always bed and breakfasts in the area. Lake Junaluska has quite a few bed and breakfasts. But you can camp at the fairgrounds. It is no hookups, and there are no designated sites. So it's what you get when you come is what you get.
So if you're a real preparer, you can actually bug out to Waynesville the 21st through the 23rd in whatever your plan was, a tent, a pop-up, ever what it may be, and see how you like it for 3 days.
It's $10 a night.
Self-sufficient.
$10 a night, no hookups, paid to the event center.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add that we didn't cover? Other than you need to be here?
It's just a tremendous learning experience. There's just so many things. How to harden your house. We've got herbals, we've got fermenting, we've got tactical equipment, infusions and poultices, food storage, prepper overload. None of us know about that, I'm sure. Prepper mindset. Of course, we've got preparedness 101, 102, and protecting your 5-mile radius. We also have Hakeem Eisler, who's been on Naked and Afraid and a lot of TV shows, and he's doing psychological warfare during Grid Down. He's also doing stick self-defense.
He's a very talented individual, if you're not familiar with him.
And I mean, there's just a weed walk. We got that going on. Wine making. When there's no fire department. Self-defense. Skinny medic will be there with wound care.
So you can see there's got to be something that is a hobby or something that interests you on this, and that was just a part of the list.
And solar. We got guys teaching solar.
So how can the individual get signed up to come to Heritage Life Skills?
Okay, you can go online to carolinareadiness.com and click on all the arrows and buttons and fill out the forms. You'll have to print them, fill them out, and then email them back to me. at prepare@carolinareadiness.com.
Prepare at carolinareadiness.com.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate.
Come on. It'll be a
You're
blast.
going to love the people that you meet here. Our Hope for Survival preparedness family from ever how many states, I've met almost all of them through either Carolina Readiness Supply or Heritage Life Skills sponsored by Carolina Readiness Supply. Okay? So, Ms. Jan, thank you for your
Thank
time
you.
as always.
Appreciate it.
One of my favorites here, her and Mr. Bill. So think about it and make your plans. Until next time, be blessed, be safe, keep prepared. Bravo Echo out. If you are in Waynesville, North Carolina or around Waynesville, North Carolina, stop in and visit Miss Jan and Mr. Bill at Carolina Readiness Supply for all your preparedness needs, as well as a good conversation and some quality time with fellow patriots. They're two of your finest that you will find, and I'm sure they would appreciate your business and would love to see you attending Heritage Life Skills May 21st through 23rd here in Waynesville, North Carolina at the Smoky Mountain Fairgrounds. Till next time, be blessed, keep preparing, and come see us. Take care. Bravo Echo out.